Hello, and how are you? It's a question I love to ask quite regularly because it's imperative. A lot of things are happening around us. Some people are born, some people are also dying, some people are also getting sick. Some people are also deliberately causing problems within themselves. And what do I mean? When the body is controlled by certain neurons and factors naturally given to us by God, we decide on our own to distort it, make things work the other way around. It could be intentional, it could be unintentional. But when you ingest substances that are not designed for your being the way you put them, it definitely causes problem. What am I talking about? It is drug abuse. It's on the increase, and this year, 2022, it is a campaign in NTA. We have all agreed that it must be stamped out, and of course we work hand in hand with the powers, the authorities, to ensure that we redress the society, redirect the society the way it is. My name is Elizabeth, and this is a topic I want to enjoin all members of a society, family, father, mother, children, to get closer and speak with us. The show is always open for you to send in your questions, your suggestions, and of course we have someone representing the voice of the authority. He will introduce himself by himself, but let me start with the lady in yellow. Introduction.
My name is Jara Banachi. It's always good to be on Conversations.
All right.
My name is Deva Hamati, your mom, and it's good to be here this morning.
Okay.
My name as the only man in their midst, my name is Femi Babafemi. I'm the Director of Media and Advocacy at the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA. It's my pleasure being with you on the conversation this morning.
It's our pleasure, really, but I want to start by asking you to relax. The women here don't bite.
They're just intimidating.
You're trying to hold yourself.
I walked in to see 3 women, only me in their midst.
All right, so don't worry, we're going to relax you. Because what we're sitting down here as mothers, makers of homes, for you to educate us, and of course we represent other women at home, for you to educate us on what we can do to ensure that we keep the society in the right direction. But to prep your mind, my winning team as usual did something quite exceptional. Let's say it is a drama skit.
Doctor. Madam, good day. Good day, doctor. I'm not supposed to see you until the next 2 weeks for your pelvic assessment. What are you doing here today?
Doctor, you did correct. Now, Madam Nurse say I can't see you today. Say you need checking.
Okay, alright. Let me just quickly check you.
Okay.
Madam, you look very pale. Are you sure you've been eating well?
Doctor, I dey eat well. In fact, I dey eat pounded yam. I dey eat eba. I dey eat fried yam and egg. I dey eat well, doctor.
How about sleeping? Do you sleep well?
Sleep? I dey sleep well, doctor. Plenty hours. I dey sleep well.
Okay, let me just have a look. Let me just check you.
Okay, doctor.
Madam, from the look of things, your pregnancy doesn't seem alright because if I'm not mistaken, you are 28 weeks gone. Yes. But it's looking like 5 months. there's something wrong. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
What is the problem? So, wait, where's your husband?
Doctor, this one where you ask. Hi, this is my husband matter. I know you like hearing name, but I just need to answer you. Doctor, you see, that my husband. Now God go judge us. I live am for God. Me, I just want carry my belly, born am, finish.
Okay. Yes. Apart from that, do you take alcohol?
As my husband, they stress me so. Sometimes I go wake up morning till night, I go dey think. Now my friend come advise me say, the time where she thinks they bother her, she dey take weed, she dey take codeine and Refnol. So she come advise me say, you see that codeine? She say if I mix am inside yogurt in the morning, when I wake up when my head no dey straight, make I just mix codeine inside yogurt, drink am. Say it go make me calm.
Madam. What is it? Wait, what is it that you say you take again?
So I say na codeine when I mix inside yogurt. It dey make my leg, I dey relax well. Then weed and...
Don't you know that you are endangering your life?
And
your baby's life as well?
Doctor, I don't know. If to say I know, I don't go take am.
Like, it means you've not been attending your antenatal classes.
Doctor, I dey attend am.
Because you're not supposed to be doing this. It's very dangerous. Causes stillbirth. Yes. So many complications.
From the look of things,
We need to conduct an emergency operation to save your life and that of your babies. So, right now, you need to call your husband. Your husband needs to be here.
Doctor, abeg.
Calm down.
Doctor, please help me.
it's for your good, madam. Calm down.
Doctor,
It's going to be fine.
help me, doctor.
This will be successful.
Doctor, please.
Calm down.
Doctor, help me.
All you need to do now is just try and be strong.
Doctor,
Let your husband
please.
know the situation on ground, and then we'll conduct this
Doctor,
operation.
I
Don't
don't
worry.
want to do any operation.
You'll be fine. It's for your good and for the life of your baby.
Hey.
Call him
Wait, I don't put myself inside, doctor. Is there no other way?
You have to do this.
Doctor, I beg you, please. My husband no going to free come. I know they talk so I don't take.
Just
So why I need to take out my pikin?
It's for your own good, madam.
Who said me go take codeine?
Don't worry,
Who
you'll be
said me
fine.
go take weed? If to say I know.
You will be fine. It's not
God, help me.
Just call me. That's what you need to do now.
Doctor,
Just try and be strong.
abeg, help.
You'll be fine, madam. Just calm down. Calm down.
That's caught me. It's actually a real life story reenacted. And it's sad. It's sad because I don't know. I don't want to go into this, but it's sad to see our women, our mothers, really going into this. What's happening? I don't know, Joy. What's happening?
It's I think times have changed. Society has taken over us. These are life stories. I interact with so many people, and you know, when people joke, when people play, that's when they tell you they're through what's happening to them. And like what we just watched, it's people think that when you take these drugs, by the time you wake up, all the worries and all the troubles are gone. But what people don't know, that it's just a phase. You have to keep taking the drugs because you think that's what's going to solve the issue. And people don't really talk to people. People bottle a lot. So when you bottle too much inside, you now find out that what you think is going to help you is when you keep taking the drug. Okay, it will get better, it will get better, it will get better. Most of the times now, I think many people should try and go see a shrink. It's very, very important. Some people will say, who is a shrink? It's a doctor. Because many people don't know that drug abuse is a sickness. It's a disease. Because people think that it's only when you have those normal things that you think that is a sickness. But right now, for me, the first sickness I think many people are
It's your
going through now
psyche.
is drug abuse.
You know, when you say go see a shrink, or maybe you want to use another terms, a psychiatrist, we don't want to hear that in this side of the world, because we think even outside this climb, it's something designed for. They say we shouldn't use the word madness anymore. You know, mad people.
Yeah.
They're not normal in the head. But the thing is, the body is a constitution of your brain that's in the head right up to your toes. So any part of it that is sick, automatically you are sick. Whether it's your brain that is sick, whether it's your finger that is sick, you know, it's a problem, and we should see the right kind of doctors. I think we should just leave it at doctors.
Okay, doctors. Okay. So next time I'll say doctor.
I don't know what your thoughts. I saw you watching that with Rap's attention. What's your take on it?
Yes, I quite agree with what Okpanachi said. You see, many people, when we talk about drug abuse, the first thing that goes through most people's minds are the hard drugs. But I think that drug abuse is using these, even any medication that you use outside of its intended use, or even if you overdose, you take more than what you're supposed to take, and then you do it so consistently that it becomes a habit, or it becomes such a part of your life that you cannot function without it. It could be any off-the-counter medication. But as long as you're not using it in the intended fashion, for instance, you know, there was one time I was saying here that I used to be so desperately thin that, you know, say one man's meat, another man's poison. So you find people trying to lose weight, and then me and one or two other friends were desperately trying to gain weight, because there was a point in my life when literally nothing would make me gain weight. And I wasn't the only person that had that problem. So I had a friend who was similarly built. In fact, we have the same complexion. People who don't know us very well tended to mistake us, and we're always together. And we're both equally very thin. So I recall one time she said, I saw her, she had, you know, put on a few pounds, or let me say kilos. She was looking nicer and everything. So I was like, you're lucky, you've started. She said, no. She now mentioned one medication. Regular medicine, that she takes it.
She was overdosing on it.
No, she wasn't overdosing on it, but because she wasn't sick with what that medication was intended to treat, she would take it, and it would cause her appetite to go through the roof. So she would eat like a hog, and then once she was done eating, the only thing she could do was sleep. So that combination, that binge eating and then sleeping, binge eating and sleeping, after a few months, she gained weight. And she sold the idea to me, and I was like, cool.
This is cool.
It's not a bad idea.
Did you take it?
Wait, now I'm going. So I got up with my techere self and went to, I think I was serving that time. So it's been a while. I'll just go ahead and mention their name, Tonya Pharmacy. And I think the madam herself was around that day. So I confidently walked in and told them I wanted to buy that medication. She said, she now blindsided me. She said, why are you buying it? And I couldn't say anything meaningful. She said, where is your prescription? I didn't have it. Yeah, who are you buying it for? I'm buying it for myself. She said, see, sit down. I sat down. She said, this drug you are buying, I see you are trying to gain weight. This drug you are buying is meant to treat a heart condition. The side effect is what makes people eat a lot of food and sleep. So you're either trying to gain weight or you're struggling with insomnia and you think you take this thing and sleep. So I'm not going to sell it to you. I said, thank you, man. I left.
Blocking you.
And so that's how I ended up not using that. And I don't even know if my friend who was using it at the time, if she knew that it was actually medication that was meant to treat a heart condition.
No, she didn't.
Because she'd take it once a day, eat herself silly, and then be knocked out. because she wanted to gain weight. So
didn't
that
know.
is also drug abuse.
Sometimes we actually know, and we just play mom
Exactly.
to the effects it may have, provided we get our desired result. But speaking of which, I recall when I went to a clinic, I had a pain in the leg, and the doctor gave me, I called him Tramadol. And I didn't know what it was. I had never taken it before, and I took it. I felt good in the leg, so to speak. But I am one person that usually like to be in charge of myself. But I found out I wasn't in charge. I needed to drink water. Water was given to me. It was in my hand. I didn't know when the glass fell down and it broke.
Jesus.
I wanted to go to work. I found out that I couldn't get up to bath. I was just useless. So I didn't know what happened. So my mind said, speak with the doctor. I took the phone and called the doctor. I said, see what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
And he said, the pain in the leg, is it gone? I said, I don't even know if there's pain there. It's kind of numb. I don't notice anything. But I'm not in charge of myself, and I don't like it. So he says, okay, drop that. He said, instead of taking 2, take 1 in the morning, 1 in the night. I said, is it connected to this medicine? He said, yes. You know what I did? I didn't do the 1 a day, 1 in the morning, I took the whole lot and flushed it into the toilet. Because anything that will make me lose control, I don't want to be part of it. But then, speaking of which, recently I read in the news, you were telling us how you caught up with some billionaires, and with the same drug I already mentioned. And I kept saying, I pity this man, your job is hard. And I remember I mentioned that to you yesterday, your job is hard. You want to share your experiences with substance abuse in Nigeria? Are we going up or going down? Some people think it's because we're creating more awareness. Others seem to think that there's more people going into it. Which is your position?
Thank you. Let me start by saying I cannot agree less with Opanachi and Divan. Their views and their comments, they're absolutely on point. Now, if we have to talk about where we are on drug abuse in the country, they have narrated practical experiences, and now going to statistics. The outcome of the 2018 National Drug Survey actually gives us a very valid point of paints a very grim picture of exactly what our situation was like, and since then there have been moves to correct the situation. And going by that survey, we have 14.3 million Nigerians abusing illicit substances.
14 point.
That's almost 10%, at least 15%.
14.3, and that is not even all. We're talking of those within the age bracket of 15 and 64.
Jesus.
And meaning that survey did not capture those under 15. Now these days you have even 8-9-year-old abusing substances, and also did not capture those above 64, where you also have a population of those abusing substances. And that also gives us a 14.4% prevalence rate, which is 3 times the global average of 5.6.
So we're really on the high side.
Absolutely. And if you bring that on the table with the statistics, the results from our operations on the field of recent, let me say in the last 20 months, you would also get a better picture of what the situation is like. In the last 20 months, we've had over 5.4 million kilograms of assorted illicit drugs mopped up from our streets, communities all over. And in addition, we've also had over 19,000 arrests.
19,000
arrests. And from all of this, we should also note one thing: is not everybody that we arrest that will actually end up prosecuting, because there are some at the point of arrest, by the time we profile them, take them to our offices, profile them, we'll segregate them to be sure of those that are really the criminals, those that are that are actually dealing in this, and those that are just users.
Victims.
For those that are victims who are users, we separate them and get them help, get them treatment. And of this figure, we've been able to get 12,326 persons in the last 20 months cancelled and treated. Well, that gives us a fair balance between our drug supply and our drug demand reduction efforts. Beyond all of this, also, it's a fact, something that is in public space at the moment, that just about 2 weeks ago, we had the largest single seizure of cocaine anywhere on the continent. That is huge, and we're glad that the leadership of the agency has been proactive enough to get a court order to destroy that substantial portion of that, while we have some remnants secured for the prosecution of the suspects in court. Now, again, that also leads us to one of our recent cases, that's as recent as last weekend, where we had a seizure of more than 13 million pills of tramadol, the drug you just mentioned now.
Yes.
Now, if you look at all of this, like my takeaway from what Panachi said is the fact that a lot of people engage in these things, especially those whose reasons border on socio-economic factors. They engage in this because they think they can get away from their troubles, their challenges, some lack of jobs, some poverty, some even marital issues, challenges, all of that. But then we do tell them, as valid, so to say, as their reasons may be, but then we do tell them, by the time the drugs wear out, does the problem go away? It's coming back right in front of
In
you.
fact, it's doubling up, because your time for solution
You have lost the time.
Yes.
Now, beyond that, again, you are adding another problem.
Yes.
Because the effects of that drug is there in your body. Gradually, as you get to take it, you are either damaging one part of your organ or the other. Because they are not meant, for instance, for prescription drugs, like Livia said, people take these things outside of prescription, even some beyond the dosage, and some others beyond the duration, the prescribed period. So they continue to live on it. Like we have somebody who is now an advocate. She she depended on drug for a long time. Her own case started from, she's actually a professional nurse, a trained nurse. She had an ectopic pregnancy, and so she was placed on pentosazine injection, and because she's a nurse, so she felt rather than going to the hospital to be taking the injection, so she could administer it on herself. And from that, she started enjoying the thing, and before she knew it, she got addicted. Till today, the scars are all over her. She's still recovering. That is, and unfortunately, by the time she knew she had a big problem on her hands, she reported herself to her medical director, who again, instead of getting her help, decided to fire her.
Oh no!
Now that's another leg of it. Rather than solving a situation,
You doubled it.
her situation became complicated, and now she compounded what she was taking before, added some others to be able to cope with that mental challenge, and so it's something she's been dealing with over the years. And so all of this we have out there, people, and we always say, please, it's better you don't do it, because prevention is like they say out there, is the best cure. Don't even go near it, because the moment you fall within the bracket to come out, I tell you, those who are having these challenges in their families, they know, they feel it, they know it. And for those of us who are who are face to face, who are dealing, who are relating with them every day, we feel it, we understand it more than virtually everybody out there, because people are going through pain. And for families who are paying at rehab homes now, an average standard rehab home in Abuja costs between 1 to 2 million a month. Now imagine how many homes can afford that.
Is that much?
Yeah.
How many families can afford
They're very
that?
few.
And it's not a guarantee that after you do that for 6 months, when he comes out, or when the person comes out,
Awareness.
there is no guarantee that he won't relapse again.
Yeah.
That is the fear of most parents or most people at the moment. That okay, because there are people that have been in and out 5, 6, 10 times. So just imagine what that's why the leadership of the agency at the moment, we give it to General Ma honestly, because he's very much concerned, he's very much passionate, he's very much committed to this fight. And that's why you're seeing us going beyond the moves on the street, going to the sources, the big cartels, the drug dealers themselves.
Yes.
Because these are the people who have the resources to bring these things in and push them to our communities. So that's why he's going after all of them, and may God continue to preserve him. Leading the agency to go after them, because the moment we're removing them from the equation, then we're getting down to breaking the supply side of it.
You know, there was something you said. There are a whole lot of follow-ups for me, but I want to pick up on what you said about over 12,000 people treated.
Yeah, 12,326.
Okay, treated. I'd like to know, is your agency doing a sort of follow-up? Because it's one thing for you to treat me and then I go away, and then the same situation is out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's socio-economic, I don't know.
Yeah, yes, absolutely valid question. And now, that's why I said the issue of relapse. I've told you that some people have been in and out of rehab 5, 6, 10 times. It's a continual process for them, because that's why we always say the better is best. The best thing is
Prevention.
don't go into it, because when you go into it, you can't tell. And so we also try as much as that's why we're working with the state governments for those whose triggers are socio-economic issues. We're working with the state government through our War Against Drug Abuse initiative, trying to get the buy-in, and we're glad that the state governments are getting involved in this now. A number of the governors are making their wives, following our own suggestion recommendations, their wives as the chairperson of the state drug control committees. And that's why recently, in partnership with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, we gathered all the wives of the governors across the country in Abuja here to put them through a 2-day training workshop on drug prevention, treatment and care, DPTC, so as to get them to understand the situation really. And a lot of them are well seized of this situation, and but beyond that, they also need to work with their husbands to do certain things at their state level to ensure that we cascade all of those to the grassroots, to the communities. And one of the issues is addressing some of the socio-economic issues, lack of jobs, quite all of these things. We're trying to ensure that, so that these people, even those that are getting help, when they get treated, they don't go back to the same environment that actually pushed them into it. And so we're glad that we're getting response. Quite a lot of the state governments are launching the state drug control committees, which will work with our commands across the state to ensure that all these issues are properly and well addressed.
You know, when you talk about environment, my mind went straight up to stigmatization after visiting such places. But I'll let you take a breather and we'll get back to you to talk more on that. I recall behind the camera, Joe, you were telling me about palm wine and...
yes. We're very comfortable going to places and asking for stuff to take, and I realized that there's some times when you want to take stuff and they say they have names, and for people like us who don't know the names because we're not into alcohol and other stuff, they will tell you, because I just came back from a reunion and they said giddy giddy, I don't know what giddy giddy is.
Giddy
giddy. It was palm wine.
Giddy giddy is palm wine.
No, it was palm wine.
They're street names.
They're street names. So if you're not on the streets, you don't know all this stuff. So when we're in the bus and they say, okay, this is giddy giddy, this is it, this is that. So there were some lame people like me there, women, who now wanted it. So I just said, Please ask them what is inside this giddy giddy.
Very good.
For them to change the name.
No, when they said giddy giddy and they saw pan wine, so they thought the guy was just playing pranks. But because I've had experiences of, you going somewhere, asking for pan wine, then when it was time to drive, I noticed I was dizzy.
Oh.
You see, that's why I always say life experiences teach you how to handle such situations. Because I had that experience, and I don't take alcohol. So I was wondering, why was I dizzy? So what I now did was to take a lot of water. But in as much as I took the water, I knew that I couldn't drive. So I called an Uber. And because the owner of that place is a friend, so I said, I beg, don't be angry. I took pan wine. And this was my reaction. He said, oh, I should have taken the other palm wine.
Oh.
I said, but how would I know what difference this is? I take palm wine in the village, but I wanted to take palm wine here. And you see, so many people like me, many people are going through this kind of stuff. So I just advise people, instead of taking palm wine or anything, if you want to take water and stay safe. And like he was saying, if these things are not selling, if people are not patronizing them, then it will not be in the market. And one thing I have learned is that they say weed, instead of you taking drugs, to get better, that the minute you take weed, it gingers, your whole system, all your body arranges to form.
So weed takes care of malaria?
I don't know. You see, the thing here is that, and I'm telling you, the people who tell me, I am sad because they're elites. They're people that I expect that they went to school, they have this. So if the elites are doing this stuff, what of the people who don't even have the privilege to know better? So like I always say, when people say, okay, you have headache, okay, take this. What are you taking?
What is inside it?
What is it? Even for me, alapuko is a problem. Because so many people take the drink.
What's alapuko?
Alapuko is
the one powder herbal.
It's a sachet. When I was in Lagos, that's where
herbal.
I saw. I don't think they say it's herbal. For me, it's not. Because so many people are addicted to alapuko. And most of the time, people who take it, the day they don't take it, they start to shake.
Alapuko, is it like dogoyaro? We know dogoyaro, right?
It's not dogoyaro.
It's a powdery, something
Substance.
like fever relief.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But what I notice is that people take it every day. For you to have something you take every day, for me, is drug abuse.
But
take it or leave it.
there are people who abuse something as basic as Panadol.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, just to add to what she said, there's this. It's not yet a thing here, but I think that there's some credibility to the thought that
weed,
yes, has medicinal properties, because I know that I think in the US also they use marijuana for some medical conditions, especially those to do with mental health.
But
it's called medical weed.
It's also at a control.
Yes, at a control
dosage.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there are medicinal properties to it, but the way it is used, probably also how it is prepared or produced and things like that. The one they give in hospital, I'm sure maybe the strength has been reduced or something, but I know that it's equally used for medicinal for its medicinal properties, so they might not be completely
but I have something to say to that when
I still need to say this. Talking about ignorance, I know of at least 2 instances where toddlers are being fed hard alcohol by the parents.
Yeah, I've seen some of them on the social media.
Hard alcohol. I have seen a situation where
I want the children to sleep.
No, you have a good time. I've seen a situation where this child, maybe about the age of 3 or 4, they came visiting, and naturally I offered the basic now, malt, Fanta. No, their son only takes Smirnoff Ice.
Jesus.
That's a parent.
Yes, the man and the wife. So what went through my mind is how did two very unintelligent people get together and get married? No, because one person is supposed to temper the other person's silliness.
Yes, I know.
So if the dad, for instance, thinks I give him half a glass of Smirnoff so that he will stop crying or whatever, the mom should be able to say, no, sweetheart, this thing has 22% alcohol or whatever it is. I don't think it's proper for anybody who is not a mature adult. Let's not give him that. Let's look for another way to distract him. No, but I mean, they would proudly tell us that their little boy, who was under the age of 5, can drink 2 Smirnoff in a sitting. Who taught that child that? It's the parents. And they're giving the child. It's not like maybe they bought it and kept for visitors.
Energy drinks.
And even energy drinks. And these energy drinks, there's this other one. I'm trying very hard not to name names.
I know.
I remember one time I was still working at NTA. I had worked late into the night, so I went into one of our Oga's offices here. I said, sir, you people I have not been able to eat today. There must be something in your fridge. Some of our Ogas here are quite friendly. Is that there is only energy drink that's in my fridge? There's nothing there. I said I had never taken energy drink. I just knew it was not alcoholic, and it was very cold, and I was very hungry and thirsty and everything. It was so cold and nice, so I gobbled it down. This is me that doesn't drink coffee. I gobbled it down, got home almost midnight. I was so alert by 2 a.m. I was so alert. This was me that was leaving the office tired. When I got home, I was so alert. By 2 a.m., I started cleaning the house. No, I'm not even playing. It was so out of character. I actually went and picked the can and started looking for. And then I saw caffeine. How many percent? That doesn't drink coffee. And now, the next day I came to work, I was good. I had so much energy.
So you see,
I was running all over the place.
You'll be interested.
I've never drank it again.
No, because you see, this is it. That's what we're saying. If you're ignorant, you said the energy drink. Let me give myself an example. I don't do cough syrup anymore. Why? Because after a while, you have to keep taking cough syrup, and you're taking what do you call it?
Codeine.
You understand the codeine, and it gets into your system. So guess what I take? Bitter cola. Any little thing, bitter cola. When night comes, I go this way, no sleep. And me with the music,
bitter cola.
With the music, I sleep. If I go to a nightclub, I sleep there. So I know how to sleep. And here is this woman who sleeps with music. I will tell like this, no sleep. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So I started checking. What is it that I have been doing that I wasn't doing before? Then I now realized that it was
bitter cola.
So the thing now is that we take too much.
Everything is actually good, but the quantity, like I mentioned earlier in my story, that I was given certain drugs and it did the job it was supposed to do, except that my body was not strong enough to carry the dosage, and I had to empty it. But you were going to make an input?
Yeah, I was trying to address the issue of cannabis. If you
cannabis.
Yes, cannabis. That's another name.
Marijuana.
There's
and that's a different one. But
there's cocaine.
Of course, those are class A drugs. Now, cannabis. If you look at the number of those that I said, 14.3 million Nigerians who abused, drugs. That's based on the 2018 survey. 10.6 million of them alone abuse cannabis. Yeah. That is huge.
Is it because it's cheaper?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
One, we grow it here, we cultivate it, we grow it, we produce it here.
Okay.
That makes it affordable and available.
Accessible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is one. Then, apart from
Is
that,
it legal to grow it? Because the woman,
illegal.
It's
the
illegal.
woman I saw,
it's
you know.
illegal.
Okay.
Definitely is illegal. That's why it's because the man was
Same.
trying to bring the situation in another jurisdiction. That's why I'm trying to come in to bring it down to what our
Nigeria.
situation is
In
here.
Nigeria.
Now, if we look at 10.6 million Nigerians abusing that, and also from our findings, is already it's a fact that there is a strong nexus between drug abuse and the security challenges we're facing in the country.
Okay. Of course.
Drug,
Yes.
these illicit substances are propellers. They fuel these things.
Okay.
One, from our findings from our security forces, the military and others that have been in theaters of war, it's their fight has come that the fact that when they clear an enclave of bandits or Boko Haram insurgents, most times they always find remnants of all these drugs. For those that had also gone into the camps of bandits to meet with them or who are their victims, they have also come out to say these people are perpetually on drugs.
You'd have to be
Ever
for some of the
popping,
things they do.
Yeah. Again, apart from that, three, those that has also been taken into custody. Now in custody, they don't have access to these drugs. After 2-3 days, they start showing withdrawal
Signs.
symptoms. Meaning that their lives have all along depended on these drugs. The things they are doing, they cannot do them as normal human beings unless they take these mind-altering substances.
The withdrawal syndromes, what does it look like?
Yeah. You ask some funny questions. That is,
Right, so go boy, go.
like she was saying something that some people that are addicted to alabukum, after a day, if they don't take it, they start shivering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a
I don't know to have one.
So these people, when they are in contact, when they don't have access to drugs, the drugs in their system have worn out. Then they start, they get agitated, they get violent, they get, they start shivering. All those are withdrawal symptoms. Now, in our situation here, we've had people advance all manner of reasons why we should there had been even been concerted effort why we should legalize, but we've stood against that because one, security challenges. Two, in our case here, we look at whatever benefits you say we know is medically established that this substance that some people say can do this, can do that, also creates a lot of medical problems for people, psychosis. And that is why also you see people that take it goes wrong in their system. They start seeing things that are not real.
Yes.
They start hallucinating, start doing things that are not normal.
Yes.
And for those, for the criminals, the underworld, it's their common food. Yeah, they can go on for days without food, but as long as they have these illicit substances, they are good. They have even come out to say that their fear is not the absence of gun, it's not the absence of bullets or sham, but lack of drug. Yeah.
There's a question I really want to ask you.
Yes, please.
You've spoken about withdrawal symptoms.
Yes.
How can you tell when somebody is high? Because there are people who take these drugs and they're functional. They can go about their day. But is there any way that you can, maybe even without smelling anything on somebody's breath, have an idea that this person is in a state of altered consciousness?
If the person is not showing symptoms of somebody who is not normal, then you need, if you want to confirm whether somebody is indeed abusing substances or not, then that's why one of the things why we also advocate drug tests for either students, prospective couples, or even those aspiring for public offices. Now let's go back to cannabis. So for us, this thing we are able to establish indeed that this thing also causes, it's something accepted globally that it indeed causes some mental challenges, especially psychosis. And for us, we believe that, okay, so the strongest of arguments.
You see, for we lame people,
Yes.
what is psychosis?
That is
Madness.
No, it's good. It's good. Let everybody know.
Yeah.
Because if you ask me what psychosis, many people will know what psychosis is.
If you want
when
to
you are
remember-
right, I said
Yeah.
when you start imagining things that
Things
are not real,
there.
You
Okay.
see these things. If you see people that take it,
You know.
in my uni days, I used to have a friend's cousin, young boy, tiny like that, and he was taking this cannabis, and then when we asked him why, he said a very tiny smally boy, and he would tell us that even as huge as big as we were, that we looked like ants to him.
Can you imagine
Yes.
that?
So those are the effects. Yeah,
madness.
hallucinating. You
Oh,
start
yeah, most of
saying
them
things
have
that, yeah,
things, yeah.
things that
Okay,
are not real.
what do
Yeah.
they call it in your language? Madness?
Ahimu.
Okay. Your area?
No clue.
Eh?
No clue. No clue. Ahimu. The Galas call it Ahimu.
Ahimu?
Yes.
Okay, Igbo, they call it Indiara. Yoruba say is Were.
Were.
Okay, so all these are
No,
just,
but Indiara means somebody who is mad.
that's madness.
Yeah, well,
madness.
if that's what you're asking,
That's psychosis.
but it's too broad. There are many people who are mad who is not as a result of drugs. That's why.
but
No, that can contribute
You know,
to it.
yeah.
But if you're talking about somebody who has lost their mental faculties and is acting bizarre, in my language it's Ohyundu.
Okay, so for, like you said, lay people, I hope we're all catching it. We have a lot of people writing in, but I just needed to let us talk. This person say, Olakoyode Oshoba says, thank you for having this fine gentleman. Oh, yeah?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. In the midst of beautiful ladies, anyway,
Thank you. Thank you for having this fine gentleman on the program today. Please, drug can also be curbed at the motor parks. All the sachet drinks are very harmful to the drivers. You people should do something to clean up the motor parks. Let me take another one here. So many of them. Mr. Femi Baba Femi, I salute and congratulate your agency and the NDLA for the huge success recorded under General Mara. I like to know if clonazepam is also a banned drug. You know what he's talking about?
Clonazepam.
What? Whether it's also a banned drug, I don't know.
Some of these may not be banned, but are controlled.
Control,
Okay,
yeah.
Yes, some of these drugs are controlled.
Okay, he wants to know if the doctor prescribes it, if it's a problem. I don't. Devan's name is mentioned here. Please keep on with the fight against, especially the big supply. Thank you. Say hi to Devon, mom, my sister Moses from Macaulay.
Definitely.
All right.
People from the
And this person says, I am a dismissed soldier, though a graduate of estate management. Life has become very tough for me. I started taking some drugs, but from today, hence is bad. I'll never. This is really
Yeah.
bad.
At least
Thank
I-
you,
I-
thank you.
benefit
That is
of the program.
I hope he has the
Say
willpower
his
to
name
follow.
is Stanley. And Stanley, we appreciate your
Thank you.
resolve, not to get that. And you won't believe it. Some people who actually do drugs, they say, yeah, take drugs. You guys are mad.
Yes, okay.
So
you
that's
can see
that's.
somebody.
Are you reading
another
what
person-
somebody has written?
Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
they say,
That
That we are mad.
mad. So you didn't get it. You didn't get it.
You know, she just flowed there. I didn't know she was still talking about it.
Yeah, because I'm sure if you ask that person, they are one of those people, living
that,
on-
yes.
yeah, that, and,
So that's it. I can understand.
they
Okay.
want to justify
Why
Why
they
they're
taking
doing
drugs?
it.
Yes.
All right, so good morning. Please, anything or substance we take in excess is abuse. And you didn't write your name here, but we appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. Now, I want to, there's a whole lot, I can't take all of that, but I want us to, refer to what you said earlier about people between 15 and above when you gave the
64,
statistics.
yes.
And then you made subtle, reference to people below that age. It tells me that people in primary school are taking
Yes,
it.
they are.
Absolutely.
Your agency is doing fantastic job as it were, but I'd like you to reach out to schools. Any plan to the primary, nursery, possibly?
We're actually not oblivious of the fact that this menace had eaten deep and gotten into. There was a discussion about some parents even indulging their
Their
own
children.
kids. And that's why when we talk,
Parents.
we look at the issue of parenting.
Exactly.
Very critical. Very critical. I've also myself seen a video of a woman who was celebrating 50th year or something birthday for her son, and right there the boy had a bottle of a green bottle, gulping it as part of the party, and I'm like, wow, that's how it's. Parents themselves introduce their kids into this thing. Tell me how you want to, even a parent, like Divan said, I'm a parent demanding for this alcoholic drink for their own child. Just imagine what moral authority does those kind of parents have on kids when they start taking marijuana or these other high drugs. So what moral authority do they have? Because they introduce them to the gateway drugs themselves. Don't forget, alcohol is also a drug.
It is,
Yeah,
definitely.
so let's not. But coming to your question, now we do realize that indeed this thing had permeated. So we're not focusing on the adults. We're taking this also to the schools.
Beautiful.
Both primary, secondary, and the tertiary institutions.
Beautiful.
And what we do is, don't forget that the agency is just, we don't have that kind of number that will be everywhere. So what we do is to engage with civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations that have focus, that are focused on this challenge, so that we train them along with our partner, the UNODC, and other interested countries, partners. We train them and give them to go down. Why we go all out. If you see, that's the whole essence of war against drug abuse, to mobilize the citizenry, everybody to buy and take
My time is almost up. Just 1 second or two for you to give your parting talk to the people watching us.
Well, the best thing is for, just as Mr. Babafemi said, the best thing is to not start at all, because getting off is a problem. And contrary to what Opanachi was thinking, we have a lot of these rehab homes in Abuja. I know, because I had cause to look around one time for a family friend, and they are as expensive as he said.
All right.
Most of the time, the parents are the ones taking the drugs, so it's very accessible for the kids to take them. So please, parents, do your job. Don't wait for the teachers.
All right, thank you very much. Parents will do their job, and there are some group of children who have written here. They say, we are children and we're watching you. Thank you. Another one says, God bless you. This is a nice program. Sal Manu. Thank you very much. There's a whole lot. We can't take all of it. But whatever it is, if you have benefited from this program, even if it's just one person, try to share it with another person. And for school proprietors, start drug-free clubs in your school. It will help. See you again next week. Bye.